there, Battle Brothers, and welcome to yet another video, and welcome to yet another review video. Today, we are reviewing yet another installment, or rather, re-reviewing yet another installment in the Eisenhorn series from the Eisenhorn Omnibus, and I have to apologize in advance if my voice sounds stranger than usual, which is nearly impossible, or if I fall into slips of the tongue, or stutter, or sniff and sneeze. I just came back home from a long day at work, and then I went straight to the gym, and on top of that, I've got a tremendous case of cold. Well, not tremendous, but you know what I mean. But I need to make this video. I finished rereading the short story called Backcloth for a Crown Additional. I've read it for the second time. Eisenhorn, this omnibus, is actually the first Warhammer 40,000 book that I read over a year and a half ago. So I still can be considered to be a newbie into the Warhammer 40k universe. However, throughout that year and a half, I have been able to amass a considerable amount of information and read over 50 Warhammer novels, both 40,000 and Horus Heresy. And I thought to myself, if you reread Eisenhorn right now, you will get so much more out of it than you did when you read it for the first time. You went into Eisenhorn a year and a half ago as tabula rasa, knew nothing absolutely. You knew that there was a Warhammer universe and that there were Space Marines and an Emperor. That's all you knew. Now I know considerably more, and I have to say that once again it is a pleasure to delve into stories written by Dan Abnett and trace the character development of the character of Gregor Eisenhorn, the Inquisitor of the Holy Inquisition, from being a Puritan Emelanthian to becoming a radical. However, and this is like the strongest point in this entire... It's really quadrilogy. It's not really a trilogy, because this contains Xenos, or the novel's called Xenos, Malleus Hereticus, and the Magos, plus about 4 short stories. The Killer Image being my favorite. I'm going to get to that next time. Well, after I finish Hereticus, actually. So, this is like the strongest point. That which I can say. Like, yeah, it's fascinating to trace the character development, but also it's fascinating to delve into, and I think that for the first time that fans of Warhammer 40,000 were able to delve so deeply. See how out of mind I am? I'm going to publish this review. I don't even care. Delve this deeply into the organization and the strata, the different subgroups and the different schools of the Holy Inquisition. In the latest video I did, re-reviewing the novel Malleus, I read an excerpt from this book where Eisenhorn described where he stands within the Inquisition, and that there were different schools, and that there were different approaches, that there's not only the Puritans and the Radicals, but also many things in between, and that he calls himself, or really comes from the school of Emelathians. But that's delving way too deeply. This short story itself is once again a nice break from the main storyline, where the overarching theme is Eisenhorn and his inevitable fate connected with the demon host Kerubel, and his journey, his story, his trials and tribulations from becoming this, really a green guy, a newbie at the very beginning, through being a celebrated and almost praised Inquisitor to becoming a renegade. But these short stories really take you out of this picture and provide you with a little bit of a, breath with the intermezzo that they create. This particular short story takes Eisenhorn into an investigation of the death of his deceased or recently deceased friend. A very wealthy man who died under what seems to be natural circumstances, but Eisenhorn, of course, discovers that the truth lies a little bit, somewhere else. Thanks to his savant, Uberamos, he finds out that similar deaths had been occurring all over the planet Gudrun for the longest time, and each and every single time before a death like that occurred, a traveling fair had visited the vicinity of the deceased. And so he and Elizabeth Bekin, they go to that fair to investigate and stumble upon a pictographer, a photographer. That's what they call photographers in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And they find out, spoilers, oh major spoilers coming, that certain chemicals that he uses to create his photos in his darkroom is warp tainted. It's not the fault of the pictographer. He obtained this particular chemical from somewhere, a lady, shady lady. She told him that it's like the best chemical he can get for that. And it is what, indeed, he said himself, I've never made photos or pics of such a quality. And I will leave the rest for you to find out. Absolutely 100%. Once again, I do recommend you grab this omnibus right now. It is readily available. You can still get it. If you're not into physical copies, you can go and buy an EPUB. Get this on your Kindle. Enjoy. One of the better stories from the Warhammer 40,000 universe that is also, to a certain extent, a nice break from all the attention to the Astartes, which, don't get me wrong, once I finish rereading this omnibus, I will get straight into continuing my journey through the Horus Heresy, and that's mostly, not all the time, but mostly narrated from the point of view of the Astartes. Given, yes, this is 30k as opposed to 40k, so the world is very much different, but even so, looking at the world from the point of view of quote-unquote an ordinary man, well, quite honestly, an extremely skilled Psycho Inquisitor, it's just slightly different. But once again, I have to say that despite my tremendous love for the Horus Heresy, I do appreciate the atmosphere and the overall feeling of 40,000 for one reason. And I always say that in my reviews. It's something that, for some reason, one reason or another, I can't really explain it. It's close to my heart and close to my soul. Because it's a universe in the future which absolutely you wouldn't want to live in. It's a very distant future, 40,000 years in the future, where there is only war in the future. And it's both a very much futuristic story, or futuristic world, but at the same time, it does feel very ancient. It is a lived-in world for 10,000 years of war and stagnation. Everything is very ancient. Everything is very old. Everything is wrapped and shrouded in mystery and mysticism and religion and the occult. And it's not only caused by the warp, it's actually the truth lies somewhere different. And even from as simple a thing as the architecture, all the Gothic cathedrals being built not only on planets, but on bloody void ships. So you've got a spaceship that's tens of kilometers long, and there's this gigantic prow, and at the back of the ship, there are hundreds upon hundreds of Gothic cathedrals built. Like, I mean, what the bloody hell? Love that. Absolutely, I am having a time of my life as far as entertainment goes. Reading and rereading, delving into Warhammer 40,000, painting the miniatures, and collecting Joy Toy. Absolutely fantastic. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea and blow my nose, because it's starting to get runny. Disgusting? Yeah, right, so that will be all. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Emperor protects.